Tobey Maguire is here. You know him from his sensitive portrayals in such films as The Ice Storm, The Cider House Rules, and Wonder Boys. When Sony announced last year that Maguire would play the lead in the much-anticipated film Spider-Man, it came as a surprise. The choice has paid off. Spider-Man shattered all box office records last weekend with a $114 million opening. Analysts predict that it will break the $200 million mark this weekend, becoming the fastest film to ever do so. Here is a look at Spider-Man.
Let's go! Move it! Watch the screen! Cheese!
I'm pleased to welcome Tobey Maguire back to this program. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Why is this resonating with movie audiences so much? What is it?
Well, I think it has a lot of elements that appeal to different age groups. I think, you know, there's the superhero aspect, the event film. That's just exciting to go see that kind of thing. 40 years of history in this character, and people have been fans. Different generations have been fans and grew up reading the comics. But I think the main thing that really gets people on a deeper level is that this is someone they can really relate to. It's a kid that they can really relate to. And you can imagine, and I know the director, Sam Raimi, said when he was a kid, he read the comics, and he said, that could happen to me. You know, I could be that kid. Whereas some of the other superheroes are really larger than life. And this is someone who you can almost imagine the fantasy to be real.
Tell us who Spider-Man is.
Spider-Man is Peter Parker, who's a kid from Queens, and he lost his parents when he was young, and he lives with his aunt and uncle. And he's just a kid who's kind of your underdog kid who really has great affection for this girl and has for years. And
who lives next door.
Who lives next door, the girl next door, Mary Jane. And, you know, he gets picked on by the bullies, but he's got a really good attitude. He's a good kid, and he doesn't let that stuff get him down. And then he gets bit by a genetically altered spider, gaining superpowers, and has to adjust to that, accept it, and understand it, and then figure out what he's going to do with his powers. And that's the theme of our film. With great power comes great responsibility.
Your best friend in the film is the son of your ultimate enemy.
Yes.
Played by Willem Dafoe. Roll tape. Here's a scene.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know he was here.
Peter? Peter? Is that you?
Pete?
How strange. There's nobody here.
Bit of a slob, isn't he?
All brilliant men are.
Great. Let me just talk about you a little bit. We've talked before, but your acting seems to have, when you look at, your mother raised you as a single parent, correct?
I went back and forth between my mother and father, but they were both single parents, and they both raised me.
Dropped out of school early?
Yes.
Why acting became what?
I think initially, because I moved around to so many different schools, socially it became really difficult for me to to integrate into the school and the social thing with the kids, and I became really, well, in 6th grade, I remember I went to school in Palm Springs, and I got like morning sickness for the first month. Every day I would get nauseous, and I realized later it's because I was so nervous about, you know, meeting new kids. And then I left there abruptly and moved to a couple different schools the following school year. And I think I just wanted to give up on forming new relationships, and strengthening bonds, just to like let go of them completely. And so acting was a great thing for me to do and be kind of a loner and became a place where I met a lot of friends who have sustained for many years. And it was just something I could really put my energy into other than school, because it didn't have as much of a social aspect to it.
We forget how important developing friends and how central friendship is to young people growing up.
Yeah.
You know? And if you have to constantly redo that because you're moving around, how difficult that is.
Yeah, it was difficult, and I was talking about this with actually with Kate Capshaw, who's a wonderful woman who I did this short film with, and she probably doesn't even realize how important she was for me in my development as a person and as an actor. And, you know, we just worked together for like 10 days, I think. But I was telling her about my life. She was asking me a lot of questions, and I think I was starting to get like down about it. And she looked at me and she said, "Yeah, but would you change anything at all?" And I said, "No." I mean, I had to think about it for a second. I said, "No, I wouldn't." And it helped shift my perspective on it. Because
the way you developed was the way that was best for you in becoming what you should have been.
Yeah, and, you know, regardless of my success as an actor, just as a person, I think I'm doing pretty well, and I'm, like, you know, on track and maturing properly.
You're self-taught?
For the most part, yeah.
From working?
Yeah. Yeah, I did do, I have studied. In terms of acting, you're saying? Yeah, in terms of acting, I've studied with a couple teachers.
Got a lot out of that?
Absolutely, yeah. Great teachers.
What do you think this does for you, Spider-Man? I mean, are you already hearing this sort of from people who advise you and consult with you that you have now jumped to another place in terms of what you can do?
I'm interested to see what it does in actuality, because right now it's a lot of excitement and energy and people talking, and it's fun, and I'm just kind of on the ride right now, and I'm interested to see what happens, and I'm sure it's going to shift some things. It just seems like it has to.
What's especially attractive about your story from here is that, in a sense, you defined yourself. You refused to let people, at first glance, define who you were as an actor. They couldn't see you as an action hero. So you had to show them you could be that.
Right.
So that the definition came from you.
Yeah.
Saying, this is who I am, this is what I can do.
Yeah. Well, you know? I think,
and
too,
I don't have to live with your perceptions, I can change them.
Yeah. It's, you know, I think for me, the odds were against me in the beginning to be able to work in films in general. So I had to prove to people that I deserved to have a place in that community. And so it's just, you know, the same kind of thing, going up against opposition and doing my best to prove the doubters wrong.
Right. Take a look at this one last clip. This is Mary Jane, Kirsten Dunst, who is the love interest, the girl next door, in which she tells Peter that she's fallen in love with him.
The fact is, I'm in love with somebody else.
You are?
At least I think I am. It's not the right time to talk about it.
No, go on. Would I know his name, this guy?
You'll think I'm a stupid little girl with a crush.
Trust me.
It's funny. He saved my life twice, and I've never even seen his face.
Oh, him.
You're laughing at me.
Oh, I understand. He is extremely cool.
But do you think it's true, all the terrible things they say about him?
No, not Spider-Man, not a chance in the world. I know him a little bit.
Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man. It's great to have you back.
It's great to be here.
Congratulations on this.
Thank you.
What it's going to do is just beginning in terms of what you read in the press about how audiences are so enthusiastic about it and about your performance. We'll be right back. Stay with us.